everyone. Hopefully this is working. This is a very last minute idea I had. I put together a very amateur, possibly, overlay for this. It's very quickly done, so please forgive me. Hopefully you can hear me and everything is working fine. So I thought what might be fun is to kind of have a daily chat with the cast of our fabulous Fantastic Kings and where to find them. Hope, if you don't know, Hope LaVelle is running a fantastic campaign for us. We're in the middle. Lee's making me crack up now.
Was Lee here?
Lee's here. Hey, Lee.
Oh, hey.
So, yes, this is a very informal chat, just to get to know our players, get to know the characters more. So we're halfway through our little 6-episode miniseries. We might have some good news on that going forward, but we'll keep that a secret for now. And let's get started. So, cool. I am your host, Damien. I play the Marquis de la Sackville, Reginald Belagamba, and my beautiful, wonderful friend from the backstory of his character is Dani Gage Akar Silva.
That's me. Hello.
So, Dani, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm just excited to hang out and talk with you about stuff.
Yeah.
This is fun.
As I said, very informal, just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get some viewers, and we've got Lee and Hope. That's all that matters.
Amazing.
Just kidding.
Hey, friends.
So let's see now. Let's start with some questions.
Yeah, let's go.
Before we get into the character side of things, Dani, who are you, and what is your history of gaming?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. Hi, hello, people watching. I'm Dani, and I go by Bitterthorn on the internet. Gosh, gaming. What? Remind me the question really fast. Is this like just like a quick little, what's your history in gaming, or is this like a tell us about gaming, all of it? Because I don't want to talk about myself forever if I don't have to.
Well, actually, maybe a better thing is to get into. We have 6 questions from the wonderful Charlotte of Verite, also known as Fallen Angel Ridian. And they start with a question which is very similar to what I asked. So let's just go through their questions because they're probably better than my questions. Perfect. So they ask, how did you get into TTRPG and what do you like about it?
Ooh, how did I get into TTRPG? I honestly don't know. Like, people have been like, how do you do this? And I'm like, if I think back to it, let me see. A bit ago, I'd say like 6 years ago, my husband and I had like recently gotten married, and we're like, what are some things we should do together? And we mostly had just been like athletes and stuff. That's how we met in like college. And we were like, well, what are some hobbies we could try? And for his brother's bachelor party, they had done like this very mishmashed Dungeons and Dragons game. It wasn't actually D&D, but they all like had like costumes and everything. They drew a big map on the floor. They were rolling dice and like, didn't have stats at all. Like, none of them actually knew what they were doing. But he was like, you know what? This was really fun. We should actually do it. So he got his brother to GM a game for us and some other people. And I think that's kind of how we got into TTRPGs. Was just like that, that chaotic bachelor party that turned into an actual thing, and then I started to love it and start playing games.
That's an amazing story.
We still have the fake beard somewhere. It's very,
you have to bring that out at some time. You have to.
Yeah, I'll try to find it sometime.
Yeah.
It's just like a matted mess that was probably $5.
Yeah. Anyway,
so there's something living in it.
So, yes, 6 years is not very long. Well, some people may say not very long. My actual journey was I played for a year or two in my early 20s. Yes, I am old. Then I played probably video games and board games for maybe 20 years, and there's probably only like two years ago that I got back into TTRPGs because I started watching actual plays.
Yeah.
And the actual play that got me into it was Deborah Ann Wool's what's it called?
Relics and Rarities?
Relics and Rarities.
Oh, yes. It's such a good show.
So good. I watched that and I'm like, I need to get this part of my brain back into the TTRPG space. So
I could talk about that show and how much it influences me when I DM for days.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yes.
And, can I just be really excited about one thing about it really fast?
Yeah.
I remember seeing in an interview somewhere that Deborah, like, created the puzzles based around, like, different ones that had inspired her from, like, the Nancy Drew games. I don't know if you ever played them, but, like,
I did play a couple, yep.
Oh my gosh, I love those. I played every single one of those, and to like see the like influence of those games in that game was so wonderful. It made me so happy getting to like see that.
I think I played only 2 of them. I think. But we should like totally team up and play them together. I think.
I gotta.
Or maybe we can stream them.
I do have a Steam library with not all of them, but a lot of them because I used to have them on the like actual CDs when you bought games on a CD.
I remember.
Yeah, but yeah, that'd be super fun. There's a lot of really fun puzzles.
I have them all in my Steam library too. I just got to play them all. So yeah, we should play them. So the next question from the Child of Ote on Twitter. What inspired you to create Silva and to have her backstory entwined with Reginald?
Oh, what inspired Silva? Well, it actually made Silva from it was going to be like a Discord text-based game. And so the DM had made this really cool world, and it was very like there was a lot of like elemental type things in it, and it was like going to be very explorative, like tensions between like upper class and lower class, and so I had wanted to create like this like character from a lower class whose family was like a mishmash of that. So I made this just elemental Genasi family where they like father was like a blacksmith and he comes from like a lower class, and her mother was from a very what is the word, fancy family that did jewelry and stuff like that. So I guess that kind of inspired the idea for like a Genasi character who does a type of smithing or metalwork, and so when we heard about this game, I was like, oh, I've always wanted to play this character. It seems like a cool group of friends to do that with. And I feel safe kind of exploring this character with them. And so when you and we were all talking about different characters, how they could connect, and you were like, well, Reginald, does stuff with like gems and everything. I think that's where we both were like connected, and we were like, oh, that's a connection that our characters can have, and we just kind of went off of each other on building that portion of their story.
Yeah, and we also had a quick like half an hour Zoom like the week before, I think, just to go over our backstories, which is something I've never done before, but I really want to keep doing because it actually.
Oh yeah, I feel like now whenever I make a character that has like a connection with another character, like that's going to be essential.
Yes.
Such a good like character building session.
It was great.
Yeah.
All right, third question. What are some of your favorite moments so far?
Oh my gosh, that's such a difficult question. I think my favorite moments so far have been things where we all freak out about something that Hope has done. I think the moment that sticks out the first in my head is where Hope was like, oh, and the tentacle's gone. And we're like, oh, yeah. She's like, and another one comes out. And we're like, ah! everyone was like, oh, we totally could see that coming, but also it was so fun. And I was like, I didn't see it coming. I was just, enjoying the moment. And it was a delight and a surprise. And I'm just loving moments like that where we get to be surprised together.
Yeah, I love that. Question 4. The GM, Aka, seems to have no qualms about killing off NPCs the PCs have just met. Yes. Are you afraid for any future NPCs you might meet? Good question. Good question. Good question.
I feel like, that's such a good question. Yes. No, I'm not worried about it. I'm excited for it.
Juicy drama.
Yes, I love pain in TTRPGs. So, gosh, yes, please do that. Also don't, but please do. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just excited to see what happens there. I think in that moment with this last NPC where we're instantly in love with this child, I kind of knew from very early on. I didn't really ever say anything to Silva, but Silva was like, "Oh, these are people are dreams. They are gonna exist forever, but they also don't exist at the same time." So there was a weird thing going on in her head, oh, these people, I don't know. I don't remember exactly the words I can say, but basically she was like, oh, they probably won't be around. And when they kind of, it wasn't devastating because I think she was they still exist in a way and somewhere else possibly.
Yeah.
I guess. So I think in her head, there wasn't a lot of worry there about that. It was more just an appreciation for the moment of who they were. Now, when we're not talking to dreams, we're talking to PCs that are actual, in our realm and whatever, I think that'll be really worried.
Yeah, absolutely. Although maybe not that queen because she kind of ran off pretty quickly and she didn't get help for us.
Peace.
I'm come on, surely you can spare a soldier or two. Yeah.
Send somebody, I don't know, something.
I've got
these randoms that ran up and were like, hey, let's help. She's like, okay, bye.
I've got a sneaky feeling she might have something to do with all this, but I better not say that because Hope might change her mind.
Okay, then I won't ask you more because that's a fascinating question. I want to know what makes you wonder.
Because Hope is listening.
Yeah.
All right. Question 5. Oh my God. Child of Ota, you always ask excellent questions, and you're asking a lot of the questions I was going to ask. If Silva could tell Reginald something without consequences, what would she tell him?
Ooh, that's interesting. I don't think we've gotten to. I don't think she's worried about consequences with Reginald. I think our friendship at this point is pretty open, So I don't know if there's anything. Do you think there's anything to worry about between them? That would be would have a consequence? I don't know.
I do, because there is something that Reginald has not told Silva.
Oh, okay. That's delightful. Love that.
I don't know, in 6 episodes, I don't know if it's going to come up, but...
I know. There's some things that I'm I don't know if we're going to get to it in 6 episodes.
Yeah. We'll see, though. We'll see.
We'll see. Because you don't want to rush the story. Because it has to come out naturally.
Naturally, yes.
Yeah.
That is the thing with a miniseries, and I love miniseries, but you do have a kind of end date, and it's you don't want to rush things, otherwise it doesn't narratively make sense,
Right. Short form storytelling, I think everyone in the group is doing a very good job of putting that in there, but there's certainly things on the side that can come out in a longer form,
Yes.
Oh. So does Silva have, what would she say? I feel that's so hard to say. I think that in the future, possibly, there might something come up about the circle of friends between, you know, Oberon and Reginald and things, but I feel like I don't know what that is yet. We're just gonna kind of have to see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll come back to that question another time.
yeah, I think so.
Maybe there's another day that question will actually be a little more relevant. We can give you something juicier.
Juicy.
Yeah.
And the last question from Child of Ote, and I'll kind of add a little bit onto it because I was going to ask about it too. Are you looking forward to meeting the Nightmare King? And
yes.
and I will ask who or what do you think the Nightmare King is?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so anything called the Nightmare King? Yes, totally in. I can't wait. Have you ever seen this show on Netflix called I think it was called Centaur World or something?
No.
It was very, very cheesy, but there was this plot in it that was fascinating. And there's this like character I think is called the Nightmare King or something adjacent. And just creepy little guys that I don't know. They're just very fun. Anyways, when I heard somebody was called the Nightmare King, I was like, yes, please. I don't know where this is going, but it's gonna be amazing.
I'm in.
My thoughts on who they could be? I mean, if this is like a dream and nightmare land, like, could it possibly be that the king that got lost in it is the container of this realm, essentially? I don't know. I feel like,
I hadn't thought of that.
right?
Oh,
Like, I don't know. I'm just
juicy.
like, okay, like, did he get lost in his own dreams and nightmares? And is he part of this somehow? I don't know. I can't think of an actual framework in how that would work, but, you know,
Yes.
galaxy constellation brain.
Yeah. Although with the plural, fantastic kings, there's
Oh,
got to be
true.
more than one king.
Oh, you're true.
Let's hope he's playing a game on us.
I mean,
Come on, I wouldn't put it past Hope.
you hear her laugh at the beginning of every episode. It is evil and delightful, and I love it. Yes.
Yes. And now our wonderful co-cast.
Yeah. We got some good questions in the chat.
Hope has a question. Dani, what are your thoughts on having puzzles in your D&D game?
I love puzzles so much. I feel very silly sometimes when you get an answer and you're like, oh my gosh, who gave us the reins? You know, with some puzzles, but then, God, I don't know. It exercises like a different part of your creative brain because, like, when we're doing all this storytelling and stuff, you know, it's like a very like improv-y, flowy, artsy type of exploration and play, and then getting to do puzzles uses more of like a little logical side of creativity. So I like getting to like work the different parts of my brain.
Me too.
Because it makes you feel really clever when you solve them, right? It's not just like a put puzzle pieces in places puzzle. It's like you thought of something very creative, like a really cool solution. So I love them. How about you? What do you feel about puzzles?
Well, I've played a couple of one-shots also with Hope, and Hope always has fantastic puzzles. I love puzzles, but I'm really bad at them. But I find the kind of secret to that is just playing it in character. So if I'm really bad at them, I'll just have my character be like, really feel really bad about that. I was like, damn it. I should have got that. And sometimes I feel silly because I'm like, oh man, I should have got that. But then I'm like, it's just not I'm not very good at them. One day I'll get one, and I will do a happy dance.
Absolutely. I feel like there's different puzzles that tickle different parts of your like fancy and stuff like that. And so eventually something comes around and you're like, oh, I got this.
100%. Let's go to a question from Lee, the Pancake Maestro. Do you two, it's for me too. Do you two plan to have a role-playing moment about the process of rune work and gem work if we level up?
be delightful.
That is a very good question. Something I hadn't thought about, especially as a rune knight.
Yeah.
As I level up, I get more runes because the moment I have access to 2 runes, and I'm using cloud and fire.
Okay.
So if I get to a stage where I can have more runes, we could have.
How do you think? Yeah,
I don't know.
Do you have any idea how you like want to role play that stuff out and everything?
That's a good question. Maybe we can be talking about some juicy drama and I'm just working away creating runes. And I'm like, oh, I found a new one.
Yeah.
And it'll be like a distraction or something.
That could be a fun downtime thing, like for us to explore. So I feel like the answer to that question, Lee, is yes. Like, now that you've brought it up, that's a really great idea. We should totally explore it.
I'm going to take that idea from you, Lee. Sorry.
Yeah. We were totally going to do it all the time.
We're going to do that, definitely.
Oh, super fun.
Yes.
That's a good question.
Lee has another one. I think
does Silver fear consequences?
Yes. Does Silver fear consequences? I think that's a question, yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, oh, yeah. That took me a second, but yes. There's obviously stuff more to come with her story if we get there, but yeah, she's not the type of person that's just going to make choices flippantly at the toss of a dime, which I think was why that tentacle fight where Reginald jumped into the hole was so shocking, because to her, that was like, you have not thought through this enough. Even though he probably didn't need to. Reginald has a big heart. And she's just seen the cost of consequences that you could never imagine or foretell.
Yeah.
That she likes to be a lot more thoughtful with things. So yes, she definitely fears consequences.
Yes, I feel like we've got so much more backstory with her and Oberon to get into, and
right, like
yeah,
there's no time for us to just like tell you all of this drama that's happening. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to see some glimpses of it for sure.
I feel like even if we don't get to it, I think it's good for us to have in the back of our mind to role play. Even if we don't say it out loud, it's like, oh, I'm going to react this way because I know what's happened in the past.
Yeah, it's like a fully fleshed character.
It is.
You don't find out everything about a person by hanging out with them for a week. You know, it just comes out naturally.
Yeah, amen.
And that's all we've got to say about that.
Yeah. This is a terrifying question from Hope. If you happen to run into the Nightmare King, what will Silver do?
Oh God.
I have a feeling Hope's setting us up for something.
She's literally laughing at us right now.
Yeah.
Oh, such a good laugh. Okay. Let me see. I think I got a little distracted reading all this. Do you mind? Oh, if you happen to run into this Nightmare King, what will do? I think she'll examine where we are, and what's happening at the time. I don't know what's going to take us to this Nightmare King. What the circumstances exactly are going to be. Is the Nightmare King a bad person? Does the Nightmare King have this other king we're looking for, and is, got them under their control? Are they the same person? I don't know. I feel like we're going to have to take stock of the situation, because, that's that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we're role playing in D&D. We could, in RPGs in general, we can do whatever we want. So we might not necessarily run into the Nightmare King. We might just go over here and have a fantastic adventure.
Yeah. Right.
I gave Hope hives there, I think.
I think we'll know a lot more after this next session.
Yeah.
After we go to sleep and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We just walked right into that. So,
Duval, you are beautiful. More tornadoes. Oh god.
so beautiful.
More tornadoes to give us more psychic damage. Yeah. Oh, Lee. Have we all packed extra pants to change into after meeting the Nightmare King? Yeah, it's fair enough too.
Oh my gosh. Let me see. Sorry, I'm a slow reader right now. Are there any other questions in there?
No, but I've got a couple.
Okay.
I've got a couple. So probably running nearly to half an hour. Depends how much time you have. But
Well done.
so yeah, more generic question. How did you first meet or come to know about our fabulous DM, Hope?
Oh, it was my friend Jen Kretschmer. They were like, hey, and they mentioned Hope, and I was like, oh, super cool. And so I think that's kind of how the conversation started. And then I think Hope messaged me from there, and we talked, and we were like, let's play the game.
Oh, I love it when that happens.
Yeah. And so I feel like I don't think I really knew everybody before we all jumped into this.
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah. So it was very like, hey, everybody.
Hey, strangers.
Didn't know what I was walking into, but everyone's been such a like delight and wonderful people to have at the table. I felt so safe during that session 0, with like different concerns people brought up and stuff. So yeah, I felt like very like welcoming, very instantly. I mean, I could just talk about how wonderful everyone is for a very long time.
Yeah, we'd be here for hours.
But yeah.
I had had a couple of one shots with Lee and Hope.
Okay.
And I loved them. But I hadn't met the others, including yourself, and I was a bit intimidated because like, who are all these like famous people? And I'm like nobody. So I'm like, oh my god, and are they gonna like me? Are they gonna, be nice people? And I'm like, oh, they're so sweet. I love them.
Listen. Followers mean nothing. It just means that somebody clicked follow on a certain day and just happened to be a lot of people, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. It's all silly. It's all just a silly little number. But what was I going to say there? It's a silly little number, doesn't mean anything, and you are awesome.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
It doesn't matter how many followers you have.
Exactly. What else are we going to say? This might be an interesting question. What do you think has worked so far for Silver, and what do you think hasn't worked, if anything? I think Silver's perfect, but do you feel differently?
Oh gosh. I think what's worked with Silva was our little conversation that we had. Mm-hmm. I think it really helped round out who this character was. Yep. I wish I'd spent more time thinking more about what their values are. Like, when people talk about like, what is it, alignment and like ideals and stuff like that, I never really do those because a lot of times they kind of form themselves a little bit as you play. And so I don't put a lot of thought into characters usually. This is probably the most I put into one in a very long time. But yeah, so I wish I'd like kind of looked over those things a little bit more just to get like a basic idea, because like I feel like with Silva, I really know what her response is with Reginald and certain value, like certain little things. But when it comes to, I think, interacting with the rest of the party's decisions, like let's say like Nira's like impulsivity and chaos, like what would Silva like think of or react to stuff like that? So my reaction so far in game has just been like, yeah, that's what they do. But I mean, and that's who they are now because that's the decision that's been made. But I don't really think about that stuff beforehand. I wish I just like gotten a bit basic little thoughts about that down first. But what can you do? It's all still great.
I mean, I think there's two ways to do it. You either prepare like crazy or you go with the flow, and whatever works for you,
Totally. I think it's really fun to like go with the flow and just kind of see what comes out
I
of
do
there.
too. Yeah, a little bit of prep and then go for it. Yeah. Here's another one. Without spoilers, even though we're not controlling the narrative to a large degree, what are you hoping happens in the remaining episodes?
Ooh, that is a really great question. I hope that I think it's going to happen next episode. I hope that we get to see a lot more behind these different characters and their motivations, because I think in this last episode we had a lot of really cool moments that showed us there's more depth to these characters than any of us knew. So I hope we just see more of that, because that's my favorite thing about TTRPGs. And yeah, I'd say that's about it, because combat's fun, puzzles are fun, all that stuff is super fun. Setting is really fun. And so is exploring. But I don't know, I think the real magic in games is connection with people and their characters and like what they put into it. So I'm stoked for that.
Kind of on that theme, I guess. Do you think, and it's obviously not to a large degree, but do you think role playing is a kind of a form of therapy, like to kind of work through your own issues or anything like that?
Ooh, yeah, I feel like that's complicated. I think some people use it as therapy without, really talking about it with people first, like not using those session zero tools and everything. And I think that in a way can be like very abusive, like trying to like work out things and using it specifically as a therapy. I just feel like there's a lot of nuance to that discussion.
There is.
I think
there is.
I think if it's like used as a therapy, it has to be by a professional. But like, is it therapeutic to be in these characters and make these decisions that you maybe wouldn't have felt safe making in real life, and kind of like confronting those fears and defeating them in a physical way? Yeah, that's super therapeutic.
I think that's I think that's I actually think that's a better way of putting it than I put it. And Lee said the same, that therapeutic is probably a better word, because and sometimes it can even be subconscious, not necessarily conscious.
Totally.
It can also be if you're having a bad day and you just need to, connect with people to feel better.
Yeah, I feel like it unintentionally does a lot of really wonderful things. Because of how roleplay is,
Yeah.
It's like an unintentional therapy.
Yeah, it's a nuanced conversation, and you really need to spend hours talking about it, I think. But
absolutely, and always like have those safety tools and be with people you feel safe.
Absolutely, always have the safety tools. Feel comfortable with everyone. Have consent for everything. But folks listening, it's not a substitution for actual therapy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, actual therapy is amazing, and everyone should do it.
Yes. I concur. Lee has another question.
Ooh,
was there anything going into session 1 that you thought would be a part of your characters that didn't end up being big? And is there anything you didn't think about but the play has changed how they are? Both of us.
I want to hear your answer first, because I go first, and then I talk forever, and I forget to ask you, so I want to hear yours first.
I thought Reginald, and I designed him this way, would be, and I did want him to have a heart under all this, but I thought he would be a bit more of a noble prick.
Yeah.
That's still in there a bit. And I thought that would be a big part of him, but I think playing with you all has kind of made that hard to do, because you're all amazing, and it's kind of like your all characters are amazing. So it's kind of like the players and the characters are bringing out this kind of warmth and heart in him that I did not expect.
Totally.
In terms of mechanics, I probably thought I would have been using my runes and my special Eladrin powers a bit more. Or maybe not so Eladrin, but like Yeah, the Rune Knight powers a bit more, but we'll see. We'll see.
Totally.
We'll see. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I think I don't know if there's anything that I thought going into it would be a part of the character that didn't end up being there. I think she's been what I expected so far. Is there anything? Oh, but I do think that I expected to be using the like warlock type stuff a lot more. Like for Silva, she has like this like protective side to her that hasn't really taken the moment to come out quite yet. I think part of me has been holding on to that for just the right moment. I think it may be coming up because I noticed a couple things last session where I was like, okay. But like the nature of the type of warlock she is like there's some ways that, you know, she can try to like boost people or protect people or help people. And we just haven't found like a moment that really, really fits a scene for creating that. I think it can still happen though. We'll see.
What about like your fire Ganassi powers? I know that's the debate.
I think at this point you can say it whatever way.
Yeah.
It's like GIF and GIF.
I actually don't know much about fire Ganassi. So is there anything powers, well, I guess without spoiling it, you haven't used that you want to use?
Not really. I think I've used some good things, you know. Like she's got like the burning hands that she used with fight. Yeah. I've flavored my Eldritch Blast to be
that was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun. I got so distracted because of my love for just flavoring spells. I just love it.
You are so good at it too.
Oh, thank you. It's just so fun. It's a fun way to be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what we were talking about.
Fire Ganassi abilities.
Oh, yeah. No, I think they've kind of exhibited everything already because we did like a little like floaty airy thing. I think I later realized I was like, I used that too much because I don't think they actually fly. I think they just like kind of float.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've kind of used all of the ancestral traits and all that.
So I have two more questions, and then I'll let you go, unless anyone else has more questions in the chat. The first one, and you've kind of covered it, is Hope described that we'd been together as a party for a few months, all our characters. What do you think is Silva's relationship to the other characters?
Ooh.
How does she feel about all the other ones?
See, I think that's one of the things I haven't stopped and thought about. David. David jumps to mind instantly. Sorry, I yelled that. I hope that wasn't too loud and destroyed everyone's eardrums. Oh, God, I love David so much. And I think Silva has like a huge respect for David. It was very funny because me as a player was having a rough time during the last session, just being there mentally. I was in a very like big brain fog. And there was different things I wanted to like say to David that I just could not because the moment just wasn't ever right. But a lot of those things were things that Duval got to have a moment with his character Kotatar. And so that was delightful to be able to see, not being able to articulate it myself and seeing like that growth in that relationship and like how David was responding to things. I think if I got into I think if I were to put a voice to it, Silva would say that they have a huge respect for David. They want David to see how well they do being a protector. And I think Silva also like wants to protect David. You know, like he just doesn't want anything bad to happen to him. I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts and feelings there that are very hard to articulate at the moment. With the other characters, a respect as equals for Kotatar. They had a really cool moment the last episode to kind of explore that a bit. I think they laugh at Sanleon. They're like, "Oh, you're such a he loves the finer things, it seems like." And I wouldn't say Sanleon's like a drama queen or anything, but the personality is like funny like that. Yeah. So I think Silva finds it a little bit humorous, but also thinks that he's badass. Nira, she appreciates the playfulness in Nira, and wishes that that's something she still had. And wishes she could have that freeness to make quick decisions, and such, that Nira has all that happy, stuff. And I think that she respects the ability to have that attitude in face of dire circumstances like we all have. Am I forgetting one off the top of my head? I feel like I'm missing somebody. Reginald? You're right here. That's why.
Right here.
I was like, oh God. I don't know if I want to say it to your face though, but I'm sure we'll get to explore this more. So I won't elaborate too much on it, but I think with Silva, opinions about Reginald are just will do anything to keep Reginald safe, to keep the memories that they have alive, and has always treasured them being friends.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because we haven't really got into it, but and I don't know, it might be a little spoilery, but I know we wanted to get into the fact that we were a close trio, you, me, and Oberon. And after Oberon's passing, we're both in a kind of funk, and we're both in a kind of depression. We're trying to get that humorous, playful side back that we had as kids, but we're kind of stumbling over our feet. And that's part of the journey, I guess, is to try and find that happiness again. And that makes what Reginald did so horrible in jumping into that portal, because what a dick thing to do.
I know. I was like, you're an asshole.
Yeah. I had to do it, though.
Good.
I had to do it.
So good, yes. So good. I loved it.
How did you feel about Kotatar slapping Reginald? I loved it. But I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Silva's reaction was probably yeah, he gets that a lot.
It's fair. It's fair.
But also,
bit of a dick.
Yeah, but also, and I think a little bit of satisfaction, because you probably want to do that too.
I've always wanted to do that.
But also knowing who Reginald is, a bit sad, because it's you haven't seen who Reginald is yet. You wouldn't do that if you knew, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So
I'll have to explore that. I think because Silver and Reginald are in a kind of depression. I think he probably took that on more than he otherwise would have, as a kind of that noble kind of thing. He probably would have been a bit more, how dare you, I declare a duel.
yeah.
But I thought that made sense, that he would be like, yeah, okay, I was a bit of a dick. Yeah, I deserve that slap. Yeah. So unless anyone has any more questions, I have one final one to go, and then we're done. Tomorrow will be David Lee, because They are amazing. It'll be a slightly different time. I'll tweet something out about that. Oh, Lee has a question. Go ahead, Lee.
Wait, can you hear Lee?
No, he's just written question.
Oh, he wrote that. Okay. Sorry, I wasn't up to date in the chat because I cannot focus on two things at once. So I'm like a whole other page behind, like slowly catching up to us. Oh gosh. So yeah, I'll wait for you to say the question. While we're still waiting, were there any things that stand out to you playing Reginald, like about the other characters? Like, what are your thoughts on them?
Sorry, I was also not focusing on two things at once. My apologies. What was that?
No, you're good. It was so it was basically just asking the question back at you, like, what were any standout characters, like opinions from Reginald on the other party members?
Oh, the other party members. Good question. I think he feels a sense of competitiveness with San Leon because they both kind of have that kind of leadership kind of fancy quality. It's like, no, I'm going to take charge. No, I'm going to take charge.
I see that.
Yeah. For Kotita, he respects him enormously, and is also a bit afraid of him. For Nira, I think he always thought Nira was just this little chaos demon, which she is, but she didn't think Nira had much of a heart. But when Nira went into that tornado, it kind of changed the opinion.
Ooh.
Thinking, oh, this little kobold is quite a sensitive, caring little person. Yes. And David, I think he's growing closer and closer to David, I think, because he just sees the kind of emotional struggle he's going through, which Reginald is also going through. So he's kind of empathizing with him there. Did I forget anyone? I don't think so. Silver, obviously, there's a huge backstory there we could go into, but I think that's it. Yeah, hope the DM is amazing.
Yes.
Yes. Lee's question. How does Silver feel about David being a fire boy as a genocide?
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh, that's a real good question.
Is there some kind of connection, do you mean? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fire genocide, I mean, it's who she is. That's just part of you. I think getting to see someone probably learn with and start to and struggling with controlling this power that maybe has been a part of her whole life in a way, just the fire, there's an inner fire, that she's connected to, would probably be really interesting. To especially in that moment where David didn't know where Kier was. And so seeing somebody missing that piece of them, she's never felt that missing, Yeah. I think it would be fascinating to see whatever's happening there. Because I don't think our characters can explain. Magic is magic, and magic chooses to be wielded sometimes by people. So I don't know if that answered the question. I hope it did.
I think you answered it, yeah.
You should be fully supportive of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lee said you did. Okay, good. Yay.
Okay, awesome.
Hey, Daniel, by the way. I haven't said hi to Daniel. Did you have a question to Daniel, or are you just on a quest? You're on a quest to save the universe. But I'll ask my final question, and then if anyone else pops in, we'll get it. Otherwise, we'll end it. Final question. Do you have Yeah, Daniel's on a quest. Final question. Do you have anything? Oh, Lee, you've got more questions. Oh, Dani, do you have questions? Do you have questions for me? Do you have any more for me before?
Ooh, that's such a great question. If I have any for you, let me see. Ooh, okay. First of all, before I ask a question, I just want to state, because everyone was saying it in chat, and I just caught up. It's wonderful how everyone's playing these like characters that are like straddling this very fine line of like, if you were the wrong player, you would be such an asshole for this. Everyone's doing a really good job of that. That's
I agree with that.
Out there.
I agree with that.
I love that we're all like, we've never played together. Let's all play a bunch of assholes. But it's working out really well. Yeah, so questions for you. Okay. You had mentioned some things earlier that Silva doesn't know about. Do you know if those are going to come out in this next 3 episodes?
The one I'm thinking of in particular, I kind of feel like he needs to have some kind of emotional trauma to actually bring it out. So I hope you have to hit me with emotional trauma.
Please, we beg of you. Oh, okay.
Because otherwise, I could bring it out, but as I said, that whole thing about making it feel natural, I don't think he would.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. What? I guess what kind of emotional trauma? I'm interested. Would this be if somebody hurt them in a way, or they saw something traumatic, or if they saw somebody hurt? Like, what is the nature of this emotional trauma? Not asking to do it to you. I'm just a little curious.
I think the emotional trauma of it either being or feeling alone.
That's really interesting, because I feel like both of our characters are kind of clinging to each other for that reason. Not that there's anything that would push them away from each other. Yeah. It's not like the only thing that glues them, but I find that really interesting. Okay.
Good questions.
How about, are there... I just almost kicked my phone off of, sorry, distractions. With Reginald, are there any types of things you're wanting to do, interactions you're wanting to have with the other characters that you haven't gotten the chance to yet? Because I feel like I've noticed a couple times where you're ready to like do some really cool role play, but then we're just like, oh, we don't have time, you know, and we just like run off in the other direction. But I'm like, there was something David had in mind. Like, are there any types of interactions you're wanting to have?
Yeah, Nira, definitely, because I feel like Reginald does not understand Nira. Literally, he cannot get a grasp on Nira as a presence, as an entity. So I think he's got to like kind of go up to her and go like, "How's the weather today?"
Nira's like, why are you asking me that? It's come short.
Hello, how are you today? What? I don't understand you.
Tell me more about why you are the way you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Why are you so carefree? Tell me.
Yeah, so very good questions.
Good.
Oh, Lee has another one. How would either of your characters react to one or the other being dropped to 0 hit points? Oh. Reginald would freak out, like totally freak out. It was like when we had the earthquake and the building was collapsed. He like freaked out, and I wanted to get like in more freaked out mode, but we didn't have time. But yeah, he would like be so emotional. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys saw a glimpse of it.
Yeah.
The tentacle fight. I don't know what to call that. Tentacle fight.
Yeah. Works.
Yeah, I think there was definitely a huge glimpse of that. I think even more could have happened, I guess, in terms of reacting. I think that Silva would be super pissed. You'd see more of like a rage, like a barbarian type.
Barbarian rage.
San Leon deal going on there, yeah. Maybe just some multi-classing. Just kidding. Definitely not. Yeah, I think you would just see a lot of anger. Some not so healthy ways of dealing with that anger if, you know, you were to stay dead. And I think there'd be a lot of things to explore there.
I like that. I like that they're close, but they're different in that way, because Reginald would go to emotional trauma place and just sit there and sob, I think. But you would be like, revenge, I'm going to kill you, you fucking...
Yeah, I'm literally going to make you pay. I think that there's been situations in her life where she hasn't been able to do anything and was totally powerless about it. So if she has the opportunity to take that power in her hands, I think she would.
Yeah. Oh, Lee has so many good questions. But I do have to go myself in 10 minutes. Question. You get a free level up, but you have to multi-class. What makes sense for your character?
Me first?
Yeah, you first.
Okay. I think it would have to be something like maybe yes, we know the answer. I mean, if Silver were strong enough, which I don't know if they are, maybe a barbarian. Second, like, choice, maybe maybe like an abjuration wizard or something. Kind of explore how you can use magic without having to get your magic from a source. Learning to control it and have it fully for yourself to control, versus being subjected to whatever being's whims as a warlock kind of thing. What about you?
Probably a ranger. Probably a ranger with an animal companion, I think.
What type of animal companion?
Well, I don't want to cry on the stream, so probably...
Yeah.
Yes.
Just a very sweet bean.
A little sweet feline of some kind.
Yeah. I love an animal companion.
Yeah. Yeah, that would probably be me. Yeah.
I see that. I feel like I see a ranger. Definitely.
a big F off gorilla, Daniel says. Yeah, good one.
They'll give you really big hugs. You might just not be able to breathe afterwards.
Yeah.
I crush your spine or ribs or everything.
Yeah. So. Yes, final question, because I do have to rush. Do you have anything to plug? About what you are doing coming up?
You know, it's a great question. And I don't know the answer to that. You know what? I do have something to plug. There's this really great show that I'm on called Fantastic Kings and Where to Find Them. It's really great. You should all watch it. I think that's pretty good. Plug. Yeah, it's amazing. The cast is so fun, and they, you know, put so much chaos into 2 hours. It feels like it was like somehow 4. So definitely check it out. And that's about it. You can find me again as Bitterthorn on the internet. I do like a lot of tweeting and TikToks. Sometimes, occasionally, they meander on over to Instagram. But honestly, I've just not been doing a lot of any of that lately because it's just been playing games with all you lovely folks.
Yay! Yes. Anyway, thank you very, very much, Dani. You are wonderful, fantastic. We can't wait to see more of Silver's journey. And tomorrow Lee is up. It's a slightly different time. I've got to tweet that still, but
Wonderful. Oh, I can't wait to hear.
Yeah, Lee's tomorrow, and I've still got to sort out times for everyone else. So.
Fantastic.
Watch the Twitter, people. Everyone, have a fantastic day. Danny, thank you. And we will talk soon. See everyone.
Yeah. Amazing. Bye.
See ya.